If you've been scrolling through endless listings of Powerchair lifts, reading specs that look the same, and still feel stuck wondering which one actually makes sense for your daily routine, you're not alone. I've been there sitting at the kitchen table with a notebook, a handful of YouTube videos, and a growing list of what-ifs about space, weight limits, and how hard the lift will be to operate after a long day. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video, I'm breaking down the Harmar Mobility AL560 automatic Powerchair lift outside carrier paired with the AL105 swing-away joint, so you can decide whether it's the right fit or if you should keep looking. First off, let's talk about the problem this lift is trying to solve. For many Powerchair owners, getting the chair in and out of a vehicle is the most painful part of any trip. You either end up wrestling with a ramp that's too steep, borrowing a friend's vehicle with a built-in lift you can't use, or you just avoid travel altogether. The AL560 promises an automatic, outside-mounted solution that lifts the chair from the ground and slides it into the cargo area, while the AL105 swing-away joint is supposed to let the carrier fold back when you're not using it. The idea is appealing, but the real question is, does it actually make life easier, or does it add a new set of headaches? I started by looking at how the system installs on a typical mid-size SUV. The carrier bolts onto the rear bumper, and the lift mechanism hangs off the back, so you don't have to cut into the interior. That's a big plus for anyone who wants to keep their vehicle resale value intact. Installation videos show the hardware being attached with a handful of bolts and a few brackets, nothing that requires a professional welder. However, you do need to be comfortable with basic hand tools and have a clear space behind the vehicle to work. If you're renting a car or have a vehicle with a very tight rear clearance, the outside carrier might be a deal breaker because you'll have to maneuver the lift in a confined spot, and the swing-away joint can be a bit finicky when it's trying to fold into a small area. One of the practical strengths that showed up in the few user photos I could find is the lift's automatic operation. You press a button on the remote, and the platform rises, pulls the chair onto the carrier, and then slides it straight into the cargo space. For someone with limited upper body strength or a caregiver who's already juggling bags and a child, that button press can feel like a huge relief. I also noticed that the AL560 has a weight rating that comfortably covers most standard Powerchairs, so you're not constantly worrying about overloading the system. If you own a heavier custom chair, you'll want to double-check the exact limit before committing, because the lift's motor isn't designed for industrial-grade loads. On the flip side, the automatic part isn't completely hands-free. You still need to align the chair precisely with the platform, engage the latch, and make sure the swing-away joint is fully opened before you start the lift. In a real-world scenario, imagine you've just parked at a crowded grocery store, the sidewalk is slick, and you're trying to line up the chair while people are watching. The lift's sensors are decent, but they don't replace the need for careful positioning. If you're prone to rushing or have limited space to maneuver, that extra step can feel like a minor annoyance. Another aspect worth mentioning is the swing-away joint. In theory, it should let the carrier fold flat against the rear bumper when you're not using the lift, reducing drag and improving fuel economy. In practice, the joint has a hydraulic dampening system that can sometimes stick if you don't engage it slowly. I've seen a couple of owners mention that after a few cold mornings, the joint needed a quick wiggle to get it moving again. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a maintenance point you'll want to keep on your radar, especially if you live in a climate with frequent temperature swings. Now, who should consider buying the Harmar AL560 with the AL105? If you own a Powerchair that you use regularly for errands, doctor appointments, or weekend trips, and you have a vehicle that can accommodate an outside carrier without sacrificing too much cargo space, this system is a solid middle ground between a permanent lift installation and a portable ramp. The automatic lift saves you the physical strain of loading the chair manually, and the swing-away joint helps keep your vehicle's rear profile relatively sleek when the lift isn't in use. It's also a good fit for families who have a single vehicle that needs to serve both a Powerchair user and other passengers, because the lift can be stowed away, leaving room for groceries or a bike rack. Conversely, you might want to skip this product if you drive.